once again, and welcome back to the Mask Fan Attic, where we look for interesting old Halloween masks of yesteryear for all you Halloween enthusiasts out there. But I don't see any masks around here right now, so better luck next week. Come back again next week and we'll try again. Good night, everybody. Oh, wait, hang on, don't go. I just remembered, we can find a mask. We'll just fire up the old collector specter detector right here. Let me set the detector selector to the correct vector. And I wonder what mask it will find for us tonight. Maybe Hannibal Lecter. Oh, no, that sound tells me it has found a mask. Oh, it's that one. Well, I didn't even know there was one of those around anymore. Would you look at that? It's a Dawn Post Studios Star Trek Mugato. Now, if you're a bad speller, you're in luck with this guy, because nobody could ever really decide quite what the name of this character was. I believe Dawn Post called it Mugato. However, in the episode, it's pronounced a couple of different ways. Dr. McCoy calls it Mugato, and you can't figure it out by looking at the end credits of the episode, because they spell it Gumato. So basically, if you ever have to type the name of this mask, unless what you type ends up looking more like Henry Kissinger than like Mugato, nobody's really going to call you out on the bad spelling on this one. Now, this is from an episode of the original Star Trek back in the 60s. The episode title was A Private Little War. And the Mugato was, well, this albino gorilla with one very big horn on top. And now, since then, since the days of the Dawn Post, and I believe this bad boy here is from, I believe, 1976, long time ago. And we're going to look on the back of the mask and see that there are no markings whatsoever, so there's no point in looking. He does have ears underneath the hair. Now, in later years, Ruby's costume company also did a Mugato. Now, theirs rather, came out around the time of the Star Trek reboot that had all the other different actors playing the same characters when they were younger. But the Ruby's version has acrylic net back sheet fur, or fun fur as people sometimes call it, glued on over the full head latex mask, whereas the old Dawn Post version has hand-laid crepe hair glued on, and as you can see, the glue has yellowed somewhat on this one. But again, this is from 1976. I think that's the year of this one. Very old mask, and there weren't that many of them made, so it's going to be hard for you to find one like this on eBay or whatever, because there really aren't that many, you know. Whereas some monsters like Frankenstein or Wolfman or Mummy, everybody wanted to be Frankenstein or Wolfman or Mummy for Halloween. Not that many people wanted to be Mugato or Mugatu or Mugatu or Gumato, or as the Ruby's tag on the Ruby's mask spells it, Megatu. But whatever his name is, I would have to say I think the Ruby's version came a little closer to what it actually looked like on the episode of the show, because for one thing, the horn is quite a bit bigger than this horn. The horn on the original costume used on the show is much bigger, and Ruby's version has an open mouth with some teeth showing, and it has this kind of goofy, feisty, silly expression on its face that's maybe a little closer to what we saw on the show than this more traditional chimp-like expression. And the other interesting thing is the Dawn Post one has, I don't know if you can see this, has additional spines or spikes or horns down the back of the head. You see that? Okay, the Ruby's one does not. It's just smooth down the back and doesn't have these spikes down off the back of the head. Now, the one on the show was like the Ruby's mask. It didn't have spikes down the back of the head. The Mugato on Star Trek had big spikes sticking out the back of the costume, but only one on top of the head. So I'm not sure why these were added, just to make the mask a little more alien, maybe a little more weird than just a white gorilla. But anyway, the Ruby's one might be a little closer to what was on the show, but the Dawn Post one is somehow classier, maybe has more character in its own way. And again, from a long time ago, I don't know how likely you're going to be to find one, because there aren't very many of these surviving into this modern day and age in which we live. But you never know. What with eBay and all the collector resources these days, you might find it. Or maybe by the time you watch this segment, Don Post will have somehow reissued it. I don't know. But Don Post Mugato from the original Star Trek TV series. Your collector recommendation and noteworthy mask of the week from the Mask Fanatic tonight. And we'll see you up here again next week for some more maskiness.